If you go a little bit about mathematics, okay. We learn some mathematics of here one-dimensional elastic collision. Let us say. So let two spheres of masses m1 and m2 moving with initial velocities u1 and u2. I said in the morning. In this way, before collision and after, during the collision like this, and after collision in this, they will get some. Before they move with some u1, u2 velocities, and finally they will move with v1, v2 velocities. Okay, the velocities will get changed. So from the law of conservation of momentum, this is the like momentum of the system before the collision, momentum of the system after the collision.
Sir, you said morning.
Yeah, in the morning I have said. In the morning also I said this example.
Yes, sir.
That's why I said morning.
So I'm saying that you said morning also.
Yeah, this example, this diagram I told in the morning.
Yes, sir.
So this is the equation according to law of conservation of momentum. m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2 before collision, after collision. Then here you just send terms here and there, you will get like this. Then m1 of u1 minus, okay, so if you simplify like this, m1 of u1 minus v1 is equal to m2 of v2 minus u2. This first equation. And according to law of conservation of energy, kinetic energy before collision and kinetic energy after the collision is equal. So if you do that, so if you just use the equations of kinetic energy, then half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square is equal to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. And if you just simplify here and there terms, you send terms, then finally you will get this. So this is the equation 2. And just dividing the equation 2 by equation 1. If you do that, okay, if you do simplify, yeah, this is the answer, final answer you will get. u1 plus v1 is equal to v2 plus u2, or u1 minus u2 is equal to v2 minus v1. So this is what in the morning we were discussing. One topic I skipped in the morning, that is yeah, velocity of separation is equal to velocity of approach. Okay. Now you see this third equation. Velocity of separation is equal to velocity of approach. Approach when they approach, when they are having initial velocities. Okay. And when they, like after the collision, what happens? Velocity of separation takes place. So v2 minus v1 is the velocity of the separation. They separate it with a v2 minus v1 velocity, and they approach with a u1 minus u2 velocity. So that is what the meaning of this velocity of separation is equal to velocity of approach. Okay, and final momentum is equal to initial momentum. So we have discussed this. I told this I will learn, we will learn little later. That is what. So you have to do some simple mathematics, then you will get this. Manisatvik, is it okay? In the morning you are asking.
Okay, sir.
The relative velocity of approach before collision is equal to relative velocity of the separation after collision. So that is what the statement meaning. So if you do some more simplification, we can find out some v1 equation. Final velocity of the mass 1. This is the final velocity. Some mathematics you have to do. I will share these notes in the group. So it is a very big derivation. So that's why I'm not doing it. Okay. So velocity v1 and v2. V2 again. If you do, so this is the derivation for v2. Okay. So if you know masses, if you know initial velocities, then we can find out final velocities. So that is simplification. You can learn it later also. But finally, yeah, now this is the case we are talking about. Now when 25th question, if we read again once again, in one-dimensional elastic collision of equal masses. Okay, so I am taking the equal masses condition. M1 is equal to M2 is equal to M. Is it okay, beta? And we are taking the V1 equation which we have derived just now. Okay, this is not that much important derivation, but you should remember this V1 formula, V1 and V2 formula. Okay. So if I use that V1, what is happening? Okay. So if I use that V1, M1, M2, M you substitute, then this total term will be 0. And here 2M2 by 2M2. Here you are getting a U2. So V1 is equal to U2. What do you mean by this V1 is equal to U2 means what? Physically, can you tell statement in words? Can you tell what is V1 and what is U2? Are you getting it or any doubts? See that mathematics in detail I am not going it, but you require V1 V2 formula for some different cases. Okay, so we are deriving a special case, that is M1 is equal to M2. Then in that case, what will be the final velocities of the masses after collision? So we are trying to find out the relation. Okay, so after finding out the so after substituting M1 is equal to M2, then you are getting V1 is equal to U2. Yeah. Can anyone tell this? V1 is equal to U2 means what? V1 is equal to U2 means?
The final velocity of one body is equal to the initial velocity of another body.
Yes, very good, excellent. So final velocity of the first body will be equal to the initial velocity of the second body. So that is what I said. So 10 kg mass and 10 kg mass. First 10 kg mass is moving with 5 meter per second, and next 10 other 10 kg mass moving with 6 meter per second. Then finally what will happen? The body, the 10 kg mass which is moving with 5 meter per second, it attains the velocity of 6 meter per second, and the other body attains the velocity of 5 meter per second. So that also proof is there. So we have to use V2 equation for that. Okay. If you use V2 equation, so we are getting V2 is equal to U1. So we can say that hence in case of head-on elastic collision of two bodies of equal masses, the bodies simply exchange their velocities after collision. Is it okay, beta? Did you understand this statement? In one-dimensional elastic collision of equal masses, the velocities are interchanged. That is what here we have proved it. Two, if we take, that is before collision, first body is moving with u1 velocity and second body is at rest. If you do that, then what happens? Okay. So here also actually I should mention here. So here also masses are equal, beta. Here also masses are equal. In that case, what happens? So you tell me with the by seeing the diagram. So actually here only it is given. M1 is moving with U1, M2 is initial velocity 0, and both the masses are equal. Then at that time, after collision, what happens? M1 come to rest and M2 move with the U1 velocity. So velocities gets exchanged after collision. Okay. This is only applicable when the masses are equal. Okay. So by the derivation also you can say if M1 is equal to M2, then V1 is equal to 0, V2 is equal to U1. The special case. And case 3, when a smaller body collides with a heavier body. Okay. A thin person going and hitting a very heavy truck. What happens? What happens? What do you think?
Sir,
Yeah.
the body itself goes.
Yeah. Oh. Yes.
Sir, the body itself goes back.
Which body will move backward? Thin body or thick body or which body?
Sir, smaller one.
Yes, very good. Smaller body will move opposite. Yes. So here a very thin person is going and hitting a heavy truck. A heavy truck will not move at all. We will not move at all only. Yes or no? Okay. So that is what happens. So here some equations to prove that. So V1 is equal to minus U1. Okay. So final velocity of the first body is equal to the negative opposite direction of the initial velocity. So if he is going and hitting in the forward direction, he will only himself move in backward direction, and V2 is 0. The thick like heavy truck will not change its velocity. V2 is equal to 0. That also we can prove it with these equations V1 and V2. And other thing, when a heavy body collides with a much lighter body, what happens? Previous case, lighter body going and hitting a heavy body, and here heavy body collides with a much lighter body. What happens? Generally you tell the answer. Generally, very heavy truck coming and hitting you. What happens to you?
What, sir?
The case is
Second say, sir.
Written there on the screen only. It is there.
Sir, the lighter body will move with V1 velocity.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
lighter body will move with a some little bit heavy, more velocity than the like initial velocity of that. So see here.
Yes, sir.
So M1 is moving with U1, heavier body, and M2 is very lighter body, and M2 is at rest. Then what happens after the collision? M1 actually M1's velocity nearly equal to the initial velocity. So the lighter body will not affect the M1 velocity. What do you say? Lighter body will not affect the heavier body velocity. So that's why we have written here V1 is nearly equal to U1. Okay, and M2 velocity of the like M2 body maybe a double or triple or whatever. Okay, so that can also be proved here. So with the V1 equation, so if you do M1 minus M2, M1 is a heavier body, M2 is a smaller body. So M1 minus M2, will give you m1 only, means nearly equal to m1 only. See, 1000 plus 1000 minus 1, 999, which is equal to 1000 only. 1000 plus 1, which is 1001, which is equivalent to 1000 only. So that's why m1 minus m2 is also m1 only, m1 plus m2 is also m1 only, because m2 is negligible. So here, that means so m1 by m1, 1 gets cancelled and u1 will be there. And here if you think 2m2 by m1 plus m2. So denominator is more value, numerator is very less value because m2 is less. So the value is negligible. This total term, this term only negligible. Okay. This the second term in the equation only negligible. So v1 is equal to u1. So v1 velocity almost same as that of initial velocity of the heavier body. Then v2, if you try to find out with the same kind of formula, here's some printing mistake, it should be v2. Typing mistake. Okay. So v2, if you try to find out, so here m2 minus m1, m2 minus m1, very less value. M2 minus m1 means, because m2 is very less, m1 is greater. So numerator is less value, denominator is more value. So it doesn't have any, like you can neglect that second term. And first term, if you concentrate, 2m1 by m1 plus m2 is also m1 only. M1 gets cancelled, 2 into u1. So it will be double of initial velocity. Double of initial velocity. Final velocity of the second body is double of initial velocity of that heavier body. Okay. The lighter body's final velocity is equal to the double of initial velocity of the heavier body. So that much velocity it attains. There is a huge change in the velocity of a lighter body when heavier body goes and collides. Okay. The next, the body of mass m1 collides head-on with another body of mass m2 at rest. The collision is perfectly elastic. Oh, this is not required that much. Okay. That's it. This is the given base. So whenever it is required, I will share extra information. Okay. So we can answer this now. 25th. Can you tell this answer now? 25th. What is the answer for this 25? 25? Huh? What happened, beta? So they can interchange. Can velocities in a one-dimensional collision be interchanged if the masses are not equal? No. If the masses are not equal, it cannot interchange. Akhil, you are wrong. Okay. First case can be interchanged, but second case it cannot be. Akhil. Okay. So now coming to objective 1. Now coming to objective 1. Consider the following two equations. R is the location of the center of mass. R is equal to 1 by capital M. Capital M is the total mass. Summation over I Mi, Ri. Ith particle, ith mass, and position of ith particle mass, Ri. We have already told. And B, acceleration of the center of mass is equal to force by mass. So now the question is, in a non-inertial frame, is both are correct? Center of mass position equation and acceleration of the center of mass are both are correct in a non-inertial frame, or both are wrong, or A is correct, B is wrong, B is correct but A is wrong. What is your answer? Anisatvik answer is C. Okay, A is correct but B is wrong. Okay, why? Oh, Abhiram also C. Om, why C is correct? Varshit, your answer, Varshit. In your opinion, what is your answer? It can be wrong or right, whatever it is. You leave that right or wrong. Varshit. Varshit? Okay. Is not responding. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah, please.
so in non-inertial frame, the position of the mass does not change, sir.
Okay, fine. Then why B is wrong?
So that extra added pseudo force acts on it.
Very good, excellent, Manisatvi. Good, excellent. I think you are regularly reading the H.C. Verma. Hope you all please you continue that. Regularly read. Regularly have a habit of reading this H.C. Verma. Like daily 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Yes, you are
Sir,
correct.
not
Non-inertial frame, pseudo force will act. Pseudo force will act. So the equation cannot be F by M. Net force by mass, total mass. That is only valid in the case of inertial frame. Okay, if you consider the if you consider the pseudo force also in here, then it may be possible. Okay, the equation may be valid. Okay. Good, very good. Which question? Varshit, which question? This question only, Varshit. Okay. Due to inertial frame or non-inertial frame? From outside the frame, from outside the lift, from inside the lift. The position of the center of mass of this particular body is same. So A is correct. A is correct only. But B is wrong. B is wrong because this equation is valid only in inertial frame. We have understood where the inertial frame is nothing but where Newton's laws are applicable. Okay. So ACM is equal to F by M, that is F is equal to MA, which is a Newton's law. It is only valid in inertial frame. It is not valid in non-inertial frame because there is also a pseudo force. Okay. Consider the following two statements. Linear momentum of the system remains constant. Center of mass of the system remains at rest. A implies B and B implies A. A does not imply B and B does not imply A. A implies B but B does not imply A. B implies A but A does not imply B. Because of A, B is happening. or because of B, A is there. So that is what the question is. Here answer given as objective 1, so given as D. D implies A, but A does not imply B. On option D. So in the law of conservation of momentum, I told position of the center of mass of the system remains at rest in the case of explosion. Okay. What do you mean by this actually? B implies A, but A does not imply B. What do you mean by that? What is your understanding? Huh? What is your understanding? Anyone please? Okay, here because of B, A is happening. Okay, if center of mass of the system remains at rest, linear momentum of the system, will be constant. Okay, if center of mass is not at rest, no, then linear momentum will not be constant. Okay, so that explosion example, did you understand? Explosion example, the diagram which I have shown, one bomb is there, it is exploding in a different way, but the center of mass location is constant before and after the explosion. That is what. If center of mass location changes, na, then linear momentum may not be constant. Okay. That is, since the center of mass is constant, that's why linear momentum is constant. Now next, consider the following two statements. Linear momentum of a system of particles is 0. Kinetic energy of a system of particles is 0. A implies B and B implies A. A does not imply B and B does not imply A. A implies B but B does not imply A. B implies A but A does not imply B. Third one option is D, that is B implies A. B implies A but A does not imply B. The morning only I explained this. So that means if the kinetic energy of the system of the particle is 0, then it is compulsory linear momentum should be 0. Okay. But if the linear momentum is 0, it is not necessarily that kinetic energy of the system should be 0. Linear momentum can be 0 provided two masses are there, two masses are moving with the same velocity in opposite direction. Then in that case, m1, like the net momentum is 0. It may happen, but in kinetic energy it may not be 0 because half mv square half plus half mv, so that will be there. So B implies A, but not A does not imply B. If kinetic energy is 0, linear momentum must be 0. And if linear momentum is 0, kinetic energy need not to be 0. That is what the conclusion. So next question. Consider the following two statements. That is, the linear momentum of a particle is independent of the frame of reference, and the kinetic energy of a particle is independent of frame of reference. Both A and B are true, both are false. A is false, B is true, both A is true, B is false. This is correct. Fourth one, it is given that both are false. Both are false, D. Because it depends on the frame of reference. It will not be independent of the frame of reference because
Both are dependent on the reference frame, sir.
yeah, it changes. If it, the non-inertial frame, it changes non-inertial. So it is dependent on the frame of reference. So both are false. And the next fifth question. All the particles of a body are situated at a distance r from the origin. The distance of the center of mass of the body from the origin is. All the particles of a body are situated at a distance r from the origin. You take this from the, this is the origin. So all the particles are situated at some r. At some r position, all the particles are there. The distance of the center of mass of the body from the origin is. So the body, the center of mass location can be somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here. So it will be less than or equal to r will be the answer. Less than or equal to r. B, option B is the correct answer. Okay. The next is there any doubt? Fifth question. Any doubt? Simple logic.
Once again, explain, sir.
See, if all the particles are here somewhere at r distance, then the center of mass can be somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here. It is not. It cannot be somewhere here. Center of mass. Yes or no? So that means it is less than or equal to r. It is less than or equal to r. Okay. So this will be the answer. And so you may say that equal to r, but there is also one more condition is possible. Some particles are somewhere here, some particles are somewhere here, at a distance r only from the origin. Okay, at a distance r only from the origin. Then if you consider all the particles here, then somewhere here it will be there. So which is less than r? Which is less than r, it is possible. And if all the particles are situated exactly at one particular point, which is at a distance of r, origin to some point P, at a distance of r, all the particles are here, then it can be possible that the center of mass can be at a distance r. And if the, like, it can be less than r when it is when the some other particles are at a distance r only, but in other dimensions they are there, not only along the straight line, then it can be less than r also. So less than r it is possible, equal to r it is possible. So finally answer is less than or equal to r. Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
The next question. A circular plate of diameter d. This is a circular plate of diameter d kept in contact with a square plate of edge d. This edge length is d. Edge length is also d, and its diameter also d. And thicknesses are same, and densities are same. Okay. Then what is happening? Wait,
Continue question is there, sir. Next page.
wait. I'll yeah. So if I continue the question, then the center of mass of the composite system. Composite system means if these two disk is there and as well as square is there of the same material, same density. Same material means same density and same thickness, and its diameter is d, and its side length is d. Square plate side length is d. So where it lies, the center of mass of the composite system, inside the circular plate, inside the square plate, at the contact point, outside the system, where it lies. Can you guess, please? Your guess. Okay, yeah, let us try to understand. Center of mass for circular disc is at the center. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
And center of mass for this square plate is at the center, this center. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And center of mass of this combined system, that is what they are asking. Okay? So you know the formula is m1 x1 plus m2 x2 by m1 plus m2. Okay. So we can find out x1 and x2. How? This x1 position of the first mass. Okay. Let us say this is 0. Okay, better. This is 0. Position of the first mass, first center of mass is, let us say this as the origin, and the position of the second mass, so that means x1 is equal to 0. Okay, and x2 is equal to, okay, x2 is equal to, so if you consider like this total is the diameter d, and this will be d by 2. This is d by 2, and this total side length is also d by 2, d, and this is also d by 2. So d by 2 plus d by 2. So the distance is d. So x2 is equal to d beta. So location of the first center of mass is, let us say x1 is equal to 0 origin, and x2 of the second center of mass is x2 is equal to d. So we got x1 as well as x2, and if we get m1 m2, then we can find out the center of mass where it is located. Okay, so you substitute x1 is equal to 0 here, so the final formula becomes m2 x2 by m1 plus m2. Okay, so this is the final formula for location of center of mass. So if you know m2, so x2 is given as d. Actually you can take it as a d. Okay, you can take it as d. m2d by m1 plus m2 will be the final answer, and m2 is equal to, actually mass is equal to density into volume. basic formula. Mass is equal to density into volume. Okay. So you have to substitute the mass, density, all those things. Okay. So M1 is basic equation. M is equal to rho into V, and M1 is equal to rho into, it is a spherical disk, spherical actually, spherical sphere, sorry, not sphere, cylinder actually. So cylinder volume, what is the cylinder volume? Cylinder volume is pi r square L, pi r square L, better. Okay, this is the formula. L is the length, but here thickness we have to take pi r square T. This is the M1 value. Okay, and M2 value rho into, it is a cuboid, you can say. Okay, so surface area into thickness. Surface area of the spire is d square and thickness is t. So d square into t will give you value. So M1 is equal to rho into pi r square t. M2 is equal to rho into d square t. Okay, again you can take r value as d by 2. Then you just substitute all this in this formula. X2 as d and M1 as pi. Again you can simplify this, rho into pi, r means d by 2 whole square. Okay, simplify that. This M1 you substitute here, M2 you substitute here. Okay, then you will get the final answer. Location of the center of mass. Okay, the meeting is going to end in 1 minute. Okay, so you can do this simple only. I will share the screenshot of it.
Sir,
I will share, and you can. Yeah, please.
so next on Tuesday, syllabus what, sir?
Syllabus is Newton's laws of motion. Full test Tuesday.
Okay,